Jahi McMath was 13 years old when she underwent a botched throat surgery and suffered cardiac arrest. Her brain was deprived of oxygen and she was declared brain dead. But now, nearly 4 years later, a judge rules Jahi may technically still be alive. A California judge is allowing a malpractice lawsuit against the hospital to move forward. And if the family succeeds, Jahi's care could be covered. The ruling came after a retired neurologist in court said videos of Jahi show the teen is still alive. This case has reignited a national debate over brain death. To delve more into this, we are joined in our D.C. studio by a top bioethics expert. Wesley J. Smith is an award-winning author, a senior fellow at the Discovery Institute's Center on Human Exceptionalism, and a consultant to the Patients' Rights Council. Wesley, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
This is a very uncertain case, and you have been writing about it. You just wrote a piece in First Things, and it starts off, in California, Jahi McMath is legally dead. In New Jersey, she is legally alive. How can this be?
Well, the states of California and New Jersey have different laws. Brain dead is brain dead in both states, but which Jahi was found to be in California.
Right.
But in New Jersey, there's a religious exemption. And so when Jahi was moved from California to New Jersey, I assume that religious exemption was invoked, and so she's not dead in the state of New Jersey. She is dead in the state of California, and in fact, a death certificate was issued for her in that state.
You have previously written that you believed that Jahi was, in fact, dead. Now, 2017, do you think that death certificate should be revoked?
You know, 4 years ago, that's how long it's been practically. In a few months, it'll be 4 years. Doctors testified that she had lost all neurological function, total brain failure. They testified her body would break down. As most people who are declared brain dead, their bodies do break down. They testified that there were treatments that were requested would not be efficacious. 4 years later, Jahi has not broken down. 4 years later, according to the testimony of Dr. Alan Schumann, who used to teach at UCLA, he's a pediatric neurologist, very well respected, he believes that she no longer exhibits the criteria for brain dead, even in California.
Wow.
And I visited Jahi with Bobby Schindler a few weeks ago. And I have to say, I'm convinced that we should not leave this with the test from 2013, that enough time has passed, and for example, videos that Jahi's mother has taken, some things that I saw, I think that this case needs to be examined more thoroughly. Doctors need to come and spend a lot of time here with Jahi and do these tests again over time, and not just in an hour or two, but over time, because something has happened here, perhaps, that we've never seen before.
And this could be a case where someone who has been diagnosed as brain dead now has restored neurological function. How significant is this, and is the science community paying attention?
If indeed she was properly diagnosed as brain dead back in 2013, and she now has certain functions that she didn't have then, my understanding is that that would be unprecedented. That nobody who has been properly diagnosed as having its total brain failure, as having lost all brain function in the whole brain and each of its constituent parts. It's my understanding no one is, because it's supposed to be irreversible, right? To be dead. It's my understanding that no one has ever come back from that. So if she now, and again, I think tests need to be done, I think they need to be thorough and over time. If she now has brain function, either the earlier diagnosis was mistaken, but there were 3 doctors, including an independently appointed doctor from Stanford, who came to the same conclusion, and I don't believe that they were giving her the bum's rush or anything like that. Either those 3 doctors were in error back then, or something is different now that I think science should be very interested in exploring, that the bioethics community should be interested in exploring, because if Jahi is indeed alive and the original diagnosis was indeed accurate, and those are ifs, something important has happened that we need to find out about in law, in policy, in science, and in bioethics. And the idea that we could just pretend that this isn't happening is a form of whistling past the graveyard. And I'll tell you, having met Jahi's mother, she's not going to let this go. Jahi's mother is dedicated to her daughter. I was really impressed, and really believes that Jahi is still with us. And I would not want to be on the wrong side of that woman, I'll tell you.
That is incredible. Wesley J. Smith, thank you so much for your insight on this, bringing some clarity to these really confusing questions we're facing. Wesley J. Smith of the Discovery Institute, thank you.
Thanks for having me.